Hi everybody, I'm Hayley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing Halloween Ends.
Ooh, so scary. So spooky. It's over.
Is it?
I got little Michael right here. Anyways, I guess I'll get into the synopsis.
Yeah, what the heck did we watch?
Halloween Ends is the cherry on top of the garbage pile that makes up the Halloween reboot trilogy. We follow Laurie Strode and her granddaughter Allison a few years after the events of Halloween and Halloween Kills. With the passage of time, Laurie has decided to let go of living in fear and chooses to live a normal, happy life in Haddonfield. Things seem to be going pretty well. Until Corey Cunningham enters the picture. A troubled boy with a sordid past begins to take an interest in Allison, and the two grow close in a matter of days. Despite their feelings for each other, Laurie can't shake the feeling that something isn't quite right with Corey. Then the killings begin. Is it Michael Myers coming out of retirement, or is it a different evil infecting Haddonfield? No. Laurie isn't too sure, but she does know one thing for certain: how to fight like hell.
Halloween Ends, released in October of 2022. It is a horror/thriller. It's an hour and 51 minutes long. It's directed by David Gordon Green, and you can watch it on Peacock, I guess. Was it in theaters? I think it was in theaters.
Yeah.
Also on Peacock where we watched it, but
For free. Well, for free for us.
For us. Thanks, Kara.
Number one fan.
But isn't that crazy? You can watch it in theaters, or
yeah,
you can watch it on, streaming.
I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, HBO Max usually does it like a month or two after the theatrical release of movies. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, this was like at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of miss the whole movie release thing, but
I'm glad that this was not exclusive in theaters.
Yeah, but it is nice to be like, oh, I could just play it at the house, and if you don't like it, you didn't really waste
money,
time, and money
and time too,
and effort and air,
exactly, life.
But anyway, speaking of if you wasted your time or not, if you wasted your time or not, let's get into the ratings. IMDb gives it a 5 out of 10. Pretty low.
For IMDb, that's
IMDb been
awful.
Tearing it up lately. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give it a 39%, and then audience, aka the rest of us, give it a 57%. We'll get into the cast. So the obvious OG, Jamie Lee Curtis plays Laurie. Andy Matchek plays Allison. James Jude Courtney plays The Shape, aka Michael Myers, but they reference Michael Myers as The Shape every time it is a person who plays Michael Myers. Because I kept seeing stuff referred to as The Shape and The Shape. I was like, who the hell was The Shape? It's The Shape.
It's the body.
It's the body.
Body, yada, crazy, curvy. I forgot.
Waist.
There it is.
Thank you, Megan. Insert twerking here.
Michael Myers twerking. Ooh.
This is the comeback. We have Rowan Campbell playing Corey, Will Patton playing Frank, Jesse C. Boyd playing Officer Mulney. That guy. Michael Barbary. You see, I don't read these ahead of time. I'll say it again. Michael Barbary plays Terry. Destiny Moan plays Stacy. Joey Harris plays Marga. Martine plays Billy. Joanne Barron plays Joan. Rick Moose plays Ronald. Michelle Dawson plays Nurse Deb. Karan Harris plays Willie the Kid, which is the radio guy. Kyle Richards plays Lindsay. Michael O'Leary plays Dr. Mathis. Jackson Goldenberg is Jeremy, the young boy from the beginning.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Candace Rose is Mrs. Allen, Jeremy's mother, and Jack William Marshall is Mr. Allen, which is the kid in the beginning's father.
Womp womp. So,
Halloween Ends. Does it? Well, it began about 13 movies ago. So there are 13 Halloween movies in total.
That's crazy.
The first one came out, 1978?
Yep.
This one came out in 2022. But boy, is it a ride. So they did whatever they wanted with these movies.
Honestly.
But just so you know, the first Halloween movie made, the one made in 2018, and the one in 2022 are supposed to be a trio. Like what do you call that? Not a trio.
A trilogy?
That.
Yeah. There's 3 movies that came out recently. Did you watch the second one?
No. But no, not recently. It's just 2018.
There's Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. There's 3.
Sorry, 4.
There's 4 movies in total.
And the quadruplet.
Yes.
Sorry, not the trilogy. The trilogy of the new ones. But they were saying that the first one and the newest ones are together, and nothing in between that happens from 1978 to 2018.
It bypasses all of that.
Yeah, it just continues that. But there's other movies, but in the other movies, some of them, Jamie Lee Curtis, like she died in a car wreck, but then the next one she's back. I think Rob Zombie has 2 movies of these that aren't really a part of it.
No,
but are their own kind of recreation. In one of the movies, Laurie finds out she's the sister of Michael Myers, and that's why he really came back for her specifically, which kind of makes sense. But then they scrapped that, and that's not really in anything else. Also, she had a son in one of the movies, and it kind of follows him. They don't have him going forward.
Thank goodness.
There was also one with the witch.
Season of the Witch. People don't really like that one.
No, they try to do it where it's kind of like another villain in the universe, if you will, the evil spreading.
It's more like a spin-off, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. But that really didn't
I've also never seen it
too well. So it just seems like it just took a very fun spin around the block a couple times and then ended up here. Halloween ends, or we think that it ends. That was pocketlint.com. A couple fun facts. This is from E! News, actually. So not like super fun, but facts. They do talk about Michael Myers being inhuman. But they don't really say why. They just say it makes him more terrifying. So there's really no explanation as to why he seems to have these superhuman powers. Right. Some people chalk it up to he's pure evil. Other people chalk it up to drive. You know, just
it's about drive. It's about
manifesting. Power. If you believe it, so it shall be done.
There we go.
You got shot 8 times.
He said, "No, I didn't."
No, you didn't. Like Wolverine, just popping the bullets right out.
Exactly.
It seems like I was getting that the original director and writer and all that stuff, there's really not supposed to be like a deeper meaning background to Michael Myers' origin story. Yeah. All you get is he killed his sister while she was with a friend, a romantic friend.
And she said he just a friend. Wow, all these songs just popping in my head.
Good for you.
Anyways. Thanks, Hayley.
You're welcome. Great for you. I'm glad you're having fun. We're talking about some serious
You're
business.
right. Sorry. Michael Myers, right.
Yes, death. So I think some of the movies in the 13 Halloween sequel, I think the Rob Zombie ones try to dive in more into Michael Myers' like background and like the psychology of him, but I don't think that was ever the original intention. You're just supposed to get like not a great guy. It's a simple thing, guys. You know, just killer, slasher, 70s, 80s, horror, scary.
Ooh, spooky. Right.
So just so you know, if you're very curious into that, there's really not an explanation. I think they're just kind of, they're
taking liberties. That's what they're really doing. They're like, they didn't give us a lot in the original, so we're going to say that he's invincible because he's evil. That's what they did.
Yeah. The other fact was, surprise, surprise, Laurie was originally supposed to be Michael's sister. And she had a son, but they were faded out. They just acted like didn't exist. But Laurie's granddaughter brings it up in Halloween 2018 as kind of like a debunker. She's like, well, I can't remember what it was, but she just kind of like dismiss it. So I guess they kind of put that to rest in the 2018 film. Kind of like, that couldn't be. That's not a thing.
That they're not related.
Yeah, they're not related. So it's kind of, they're definitely like cutting ties with any of the other movies. This is supposed to be like the direct 3 movies after the original one in 1980.
40 years after that. Yeah.
Yeah, 40 years. And from Collider.com, Halloween Ends Easter eggs. This movie explores the idea of evil spreading, kind of like
an infection.
Not the witch one. Like an infection, but kind of like the witch one. Not exactly, but they try to go into other villains, which is what I think this one kind of did. But it did have Michael Myers
like
in it
Season
still.
of the Witch. That's what you're talking about.
Sorry, Season of the Witch. I keep calling it the witch one.
I was thinking of the witch or whatever.
The witch. No. The witch. Sorry, I have an accent. But yeah, so the idea of evil spreading, hence the pumpkins in the beginning coming out of each other.
Yeah, I like that. It was cute.
Oh, cute. Yeah, that was really cute. Wasn't creepy at all. And the original Michael Myers shape guy, you know, the guy in the bar who like flashes his costume and he has like condoms. That's the original Michael Myers shape.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
I like how you say his name.
Michael Myers. What did I
say? Yeah.
Yeah. So the original guy who plays the shape.
That's cute.
Yeah. So he made a little cameo.
Aw.
So with that being said, Kaylee, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that this wasn't your favorite movie. But what did you think about this movie?
You must be psychic, because it definitely was not my favorite. I actually had never seen Halloween Kills, so I watched that the day before and I had fun with it. It's a slasher. It's what it is. You know, I like watching Michael Myers beat some folks up. It's pretty cool. This one, Baby, they should have scrapped this shit. I don't know. It's like, okay, if I were to make a conclusion to something so epic like a trilogy of Halloween movies, when you get Jamie Lee Curtis back on the screen and she's older but still kicking ass and taking names and shit, you want to do it justice. I think it was so cool because Halloween and Halloween Kills are basically the same night, but in 2 different movies. It's pretty cool because you didn't watch that one.
The second one.
Yeah.
No.
So Halloween Kills is basically picking up right after the events of the first one, which is when they burn down Jamie Lee Curtis's house with Michael Myers still in there. So we basically get the aftermath of all of that, which was cool. I like to see that. But this one like picks up a few years after Halloween Kills, and then it's just like ass. That's the simplest way I could say it. There wasn't enough Michael Myers in it, and then we have this whole like, oh, people are going to be, or, evil is spreading, blah, 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 blah. It was just really stupid, really lame. We didn't really go anywhere. The conclusion to this epic finale was just a bummer. But yeah, what did you think of this movie, Hayley?
I thought it was what I expected. I do think I wish there was a little bit more of a grander ending. But overall, it was okay. I was kind of like, what? What's that? Huh?
Right.
Where? But overall, it was okay. I think I would have liked this movie if they took the premise of it with the guy, his name being Corey. Like, it wasn't the base of the story, like the villain story of somebody who's innocent, who did something on accident, and then turning evil and being exactly who everybody wanted him to be, was not a bad storyline. Like, I was like, I wouldn't mind this storyline. I just was confused why it was in this movie and why they did it like that. Right. If that makes sense. Because I was like, I actually don't mind this. But I feel like they're thrusting a brand new character into the series in the finale at the end. So to me, how they kind of maybe thought it through and had him as a character
in the beginning.
Kind of in the beginning. I'm not saying he has to have a major role. But it just seems like, I feel like sometimes, even this, like in Avengers movies a lot, like some of the villains, like you've never heard of them before. You have no background on them. But then like, bad guy, really bad guy, fight this bad guy, and then you're done. Like, it's just, but at least with Avengers, they had a couple more to go. But this was it. I'm like, not me being introduced to this villain. And
at the very end, yeah.
And I thought it was going more places. Like, I was like, oh, I feel like there should be like one more. Like, it's unfinished. This was like, for what? You did all this for what? But yes, so that's just kind of my overall thoughts, is needed to be fleshed out a little bit more. Who's this new character that brought in at the very last movie, and for why? And that final fight, Michael Myers wanted to die. He was done. There's no way.
He's too old to move forward, bro.
Is that what it is?
He was tired.
He's throwing her around the room, and somehow she's still able to outmuscle him. He wanted to die. Yeah. This is his goal. I think he was done. I think he was trying to find his predecessor. Didn't work out. He has to go out. And who else better to go out with than his one true love?
Oh, Laurie.
Because he won't kill her. Let's be honest. He kill everybody with ease. Yeah. Then it comes to her and he's, I can't get you.
He said, you gonna stop me? You gonna stop me?
Yeah. Like he's almost gonna do something. And I'm like, no, you just threw her across the room with like your 3 fingers. Like, what are you doing?
With your pinky.
Literally. He goes like this. She flies. But then when they're wrestling hand in hand combat, she's able to like somehow disturb his advances and he can't do anything. But anyway,
I don't think I loved this storyline for the last movie because we kind of touch on it in the second one. So basically, everybody gets all hyped up and rallied around like this idea of evil dies tonight because they're like, oh shit, Michael Myers is back and he's still running amok in these streets, acting a fool and killing folks. So everybody they're all gathering at the hospital because like they're trying to figure out who's dead, who's alive, who's hurt, blah, 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 blah. And Laurie's there, that cop is there, and this guy, Tommy Doyle, who is apparently from the first movie, he was one of the kids that was babysat and like one of his babysitters got killed. So anyways, he is like the person in charge of like this whole riot that comes out of nowhere at the hospital. He's like, evil dies tonight. We're not going to stand for this anymore. And they think that they spot Michael Myers, but really it's just some kind of mental ill patient from the like that, where Michael Myers came from, some kind of asylum or like prison for mentally ill inmates. Anyways, so he's at the hospital. He's getting chased around by this mob, and it gets so crazy that he ends up killing himself because of this mob. And then so everybody's like, man, are we really Michael Myers the monster, or is Michael Myers the monster?
He's just giggling.
Exactly.
He's like, are you?
Exactly. He's like, I told you I wasn't the bad one.
It's kind of fun, isn't it? They're like,
y'all like killing. So they already explored this idea in the second one of like Haddonfield becoming evil themselves and not really defeating the evil, but actually being evil. So I guess we could continue on with the story, but I feel like it was just already kind of talked about in the second one. So to have the third one be like a continuation of the thing that we've already kind of touched on before was just like, why? We already talked about something new. And like, I just think the lack of Michael Myers in this one made it so much more disgusting to me. How are we going to end Halloween with like 3 seconds of Michael Myers?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Hiding in the gutters.
That's what was wrong with him.
He hides?
He was like,
the most obvious
welcome to my abode. Like, I would have given up too if I'd been there for 3 years.
He was done.
He said, you know what? Take me back to prison or kill me, because I'm not doing this sewer shit no more. I don't know. It just was like a very lame story. Like, we already talked about Haddonfield becoming evil. We don't have to have this personification of evil through a different character. Let's just do Michael Myers again. We want Michael Myers.
It's just a classic movie. We're not asking for much. We already know that this movie is more of a cult classic, like a fan favorite type of movie. We don't need you to get deep. We don't need you to throw in extra characters.
No, that's what they were trying to do, was get deep.
They were trying.
Why?
Am I a bad person? I barely even know at this point, sir. Are you possessed or not?
Right.
I thought you were possessed, but now they're trying to act like, was this him all along?
Yeah.
I was like, what? Anyway.
And the other thing that really bothered me was the dialogue throughout this whole movie was just off. It was like all these sentences were strung along really weirdly. It was like that one time where I didn't write down my synopsis and I just started going off of my noggin. That's like this whole thing.
Really? I don't think I noticed the dialogue being...
It was so weird. And like, there's that whole... We were watching Lori write her book or whatever, and she was like, to choose life or to choose fear, to choose suicide. I was like, suicide? Who's talking about suicide? Or cherry blossoms.
What was a cherry blossom? Was that supposed to be in the other movies?
No, it's just a reference of that conversation she had with that cop where he was like, which is, I guess, is like a next step. That's what she was saying. It's like suicide or like choosing life of like adventure.
No, I got that, but I remember him mentioning cherry blossoms, but then she kept referencing it so much because I thought it wasn't.
That was
he
it.
He kind of briefly said something,
and that.
But I was like, oh, this must be bigger, like in another movie, because she really is referencing these cherry blossoms that guy
just
mentioned
that one
time. And I get it. Maybe I was supposed to hear it and remember it, but I was just like, what about the cherry? Are they going to go see them? Are they planting them? Like, I forgot what the conversation was in the beginning because it just wasn't that serious. And then I was like, oh, what?
It's just, I don't know. And then there's that whole conversation with Allison and Corey when they're at the restaurant. So she's like talking to him about, you know, the events that happened. Like, oh yeah, we survived Michael Myers. And he was like, I think your mom just feels guilty because you're an orphan and it's her fault. And she's like, yeah, but these French fries are pretty good though. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I wasn't really getting how she wasn't getting his Creed vibes because he was being so weird. And she's like, let's burn his piss to the ground. Yeah. She's like, let's do it. And I was like,
not you signing up for a mass murder spree.
I was ready for Bonnie and Clyde.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Because that's like what, and it's kind of, it would have been a callback to the first movie where she dressed up as Bonnie and Clyde with her boyfriend. She doesn't remember, but
no, but it sounds really cool.
But that would have been a cool like callback if it was her and her man becoming bad guys,
and her like going a little like if it spread a little to her too.
That's what it should have done.
It should have been. Because I was like, oh, that would be interesting. Because you know, I was like, that would be not as predictable. Like,
because then it's like Laurie Strode's granddaughter is the one who's causing all this manic and mayhem.
And she has to kill her.
Oh, that would have been cool, but no, it was like she's just falling in love with some crazy man
who somehow flung this 7-year-old off the banister with the door just opening.
Yeah,
I was like, that kid flew. And I was like, he did push that kid. There was no way him busting the door open like that.
Because at first I thought the kid was like between a door and a wall. And so I thought he hit himself on the wall, not going over the banister. No. So I was very confused.
Even then, he wasn't even close enough. And he had to have caught air. Like, it's
Cowabunga, like
if the door hits you, you're just like, psh, ah, like you're gonna fall over. This kid went and flew over the banister.
Yeah,
that's probably like not a little lower than your chest. Like I don't know, but it's not like it's a couple feet.
Yeah.
So
especially
anyway.
for that little kid, probably hit him in the shoulders. So
Yeah, hit him in the head. I could see him like, but to me, I was like, that was really extra. Unless the movie's trying to get you to think, did he do it on accident or not? Because technically, we just see the door fly,
and that's
we see the kid fly, but you don't really see it hit the kid. He killed him. He killed him on purpose. Listen. And he's like, ugh. But that kid deserves some kind of pain because I don't think all that. That kid was so annoying.
I think he deserves some, but not death.
You ugly ass babysitter. I was like, why did he separate ugly ass like that? I rewinded it because I was like, what did he call him? He was like, tired of me with this ugly ass babysitter.
That's the realistic though. When 7-year-olds start cussing for the first time.
I was like, you mean ugly ass? He said
ugly
ass.
You're gonna catch all these syllables, bitch.
So ugly you are. But yeah, I was like, not that kid, and then he locked him in there, and I was like,
This is what the kids in the lodge did too. They prank people too far, and it results in their death. You got to stop pranking adults.
Stop pranking adults.
That's the rule. That's the lesson.
That shit, it was not funny, but I was like, I was like,
I was so shocked that kid just, his head went.
Oh no, they did the most with some of the violence in this. I said they didn't have to do all that. The kid, I didn't have to see his neck snap and fall over. Lot. I was like, oh Lord. So there was that. And I was like, okay. And then of course, we go from there, and then you have the high school kids that look like they're from the 80s. Like he was driving an old timey car. The guy had a freaking mullet. Like I was like, what in the 80s is this? Like, are they supposed to be greasers? And they're just bullying people? Kind of like bullies, like Grease.
Yeah. Really.
I was confused. I was like, what? I'm so over the like over dramatic bullying from high school kids who are being played by 27-year-olds. I can't get into it. I can't feel bad. Like, I know kids bully. I'm not going to say that. But there's something about a grown-ass person playing, like, a 16-year-old. And they're being so vile to the point where it's, like, unrealistic. Yeah. They do it all the time. Just, like, they're supposed to be in high school, but it's, like, heightened, like, on drugs. Like, these kids, well, they're on drugs. But, it's, like, the sexual stuff is, like, on 10. The violence stuff's on 10. The bullying stuff's on 10. Like, I think did you watch the movie Do Revenge?
Yeah, we talked about last time.
Okay. Same thing. I think I was just like, here we go again. I mean, and I don't know how you would depict it realistically for a movie. Like, is that boring? I don't know. Yeah. But I'm like, there's got to be a way to kind of more realistically show some kind of bullying to the point where it's not like kids running around and then eventually like stabbing. I'm like, what? Unless they're going with the whole town's being plagued by some kind of evil. But I feel like that's not really what it was.
They didn't really play into it that much if that's where they were going.
Because Corey got drug into the tunnel.
Yeah.
Starts getting choked. Then there's weird flashback stuff, and then he's crawling out. So I thought Michael Myers was possessing him, or did he just transfer evil? Like, what happened?
I don't know. Maybe
what was supposed to go on.
I guess it was also trying to force that parallel because, Michael Myers, they're like, he was just a young boy who killed his sister. He was a little kid when he did that. So somebody should have been watching out for him or something. So maybe it was like that innocentness being lost and like nobody, and then everybody turning against him and being like, he's a killer, blah, blah, blah. So I guess that was a parallel. Maybe that's what Michael saw because he's spiritual.
Clearly.
During his time in the sewer, he got really spiritual. So that's why I guess they show the flashbacks, and that's why he let him live, and like why they were like fake wrestling around in the sewer a few times.
I was like,
their dynamic was weird.
Yeah, I'm like, is that his son? Like, where are we going with this?
I don't know.
And they just didn't go anywhere with it. And then he kills the homeless man, and then he's running around being evil. And then of course the dad of Jeremy, the boy who died, was like, honestly, I don't know who that is anymore. I'm like, you just saw him a couple days ago. Like, I thought he was going to tell a story from like the past. He was like, I met up with him one time and he was different. Yeah. So I thought they were going to show in the past and maybe make us confused a little bit. But no, it was like 2 days ago after he got possessed. I was like, okay, well why is he here? Like, why is the dad even saying anything?
Just to be like, oh, I don't think he really did kill my son on purpose. So he wasn't evil then, but now he is.
And I'm like, what? This didn't add anything to the story because like I said, if he did it before he was possessed and there was some kind of other odd happening, I might be like, but then he didn't add to the story. He's like, yeah, he's going crazy. Anyone else notice? Maybe he is bad. I'm like, why is he here? Yeah. Get him out of here. Like, I thought he was going to provide some real insight and some real logical like explanation.
That was how I felt with everybody in this movie.
He's literally right there with us in the storyline, not giving us any new information. So I was like, okay. So that confused me. But I thought at the end, Corey was going to rise from the fucking dead.
Yeah.
And he was going to be the new Michael Myers.
That would have been better.
Because Michael Myers gave it up way, way, way too easily. There's no reason why he should have been slaughtered like that.
Can we talk about that last scene? There was a lot of sexual tension between him and Lori.
Oh,
he was pulling her hair back.
She had him tied up.
And she was on top of him on the table. I was like,
stabbing.
Y'all get a little freaky.
Listen,
calm down.
Just kiss. This is a lot. These star-crossed lovers.
I know.
Can never be. Definitely has something going on. You know when like, and then they're just destroying everybody else. It's like Batman and Joker. Batman won't kill Joker because he doesn't want to kill.
Right.
But then the Joker just runs amok. And this is what we have here. The population is just being annihilated because
poor Haddonfield.
I don't know why they still live there. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking killing me?
Yeah, I'm killing you.
You know, because movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I would not live in this town. There's so many memories. Oh, I'm sorry. If your parents being burnt alive in the house. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Of all of your friends getting killed too. Your boyfriend, like in the second movie, like her boyfriend got his head snapped in front of her.
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean memories? Like you need so much help. Like,
she
get out of here. And yeah, the fact that anyone's still in this damn town at this point,
I would have been gone. And
every time on Halloween, they're still running around. Like, that's
and
clearly
celebrating.
the night. Yeah, I'm like, this
and
is
celebrating.
The There's a night to not be here.
Yeah,
it's y'all. Y'all should have all the lanterns out. There's no trick or treating here. Like this is not. The time.
all leave collectively during Halloween. That's what we should be doing.
That's the thing. And then Michael can't do anything ever.
Exactly. Then he's like, man, where'd everybody go?
He has to go back to his tunnel.
And that's how you kill him because he only gets stronger with all the kills. Whatever. So if he can't kill anybody, boom, he's dead.
Boom. He doesn't get strong.
That was the plan, Haddonfield, and y'all fucked up. Y'all bumbled.
Was so confused. Yeah. I was like, why are y'all still running around this town? I mean, I guess we wouldn't have a movie, but we got to think of something.
Yeah.
Because ain't no way this many people are still here running around on Halloween.
But I also don't even think it's fair for them to be so mean to Lori. Like that lady that came up to her at the grocery store, like, oh, you're happy? Look at what Michael Myers did to my sister. I'm like how was that her fault?
Her daughter killed. And her friends killed and she's younger.
And she tried her best to kill that man. She burnt her whole house down to kill that man. It's not her fault that the firefighters got there and saved him. What was she supposed to do? She thought that man was dead for the whole, like, basically for the whole second movie. That whole time she was convinced that the man was dead. Everybody else was like, oh my God, Michael Myers is back killing people. And she's like, we got him. So it's kind of funny.
What she's mad about.
She's like, damn.
The one time you had to fight back. I guess they were trying to do some kind of, the Avengers, was it Captain America versus Iron Man or whatever, the Civil War.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to do that thing of, the destruction of others. Like you kind of looking into
it's
the
your
community. Yeah, the responsibilities. Yeah. Like you're still here and somehow you keep getting caught up every single time. So it's kind of that. So I thought they might go somewhere else with that. They didn't.
Yeah. But it's just also weird, like, we're blaming a victim of, like, stalking behavior. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Myers stalked Lori when she was younger and tried to kill her and her friends. And now he came back 40 years later. So how is it her fault?
I think they think because she keeps staying there, he keeps coming back. So they're like, I get it. You're traumatized.
But can you be traumatized somewhere else?
Like, traumatize yourself somewhere else? So I don't know if that was an argument of, like, oh, she's drawing him here, but I don't know if she goes somewhere else, if he'll be drawn there, if it's this town specifically. I don't know. But also her people. So of course I'm sure that lady was very upset. And of course she's going to blame her neighbor.
Yeah.
But I feel like that happens not a lot, but that's kind of the thing. Like you do get blamed.
I just felt bad for Lori this whole time because in the first movie, I remember specifically her daughter being like, Mom, get over it. It happened 40 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry. But whenever your friends get slain by a psychopath, you can talk to me then, bitch. Like,
I want to be a survivalist. I'm gonna be a fucking survivalist. Like,
it was so weird for her to have such a 360 in the end, or 180, not 360, because 360 whole. Anyways,
right back.
She turned right back around. But yeah, why is she celebrating Halloween? Why is she moving into town trying to be normal? Like, there's healing, but then there's delusion. I'm like,
this was delusion. It really
was. You spent 40 years preparing for that man to come back,
and he did,
just for you to be like, oh, he's still alive, but I'm gonna like be normal. No, you're not.
Well, then in this next one, she's kind of like chilling again. I'm like, you waited 40 years for him to come back. He did.
Yeah.
4 years later, he's coming back. Like it's all the fours.
Yeah. I don't understand like why she pretended to be like normal. Why they made her pretend to be normal. Like she should just been still traumatized, still trying to deal with it because you lost all your fucking friends and almost was killed. And then he came back 40 years later. Like I don't blame you, Lori. This is not your fault.
No, she doesn't move though. Be for real.
I would have gone.
Let's be realistic here. You and your granddaughter are gone. Not your whole family getting slain. You only have a couple people left. Do you want to make it worse? No.
Yeah.
And then she's getting swept away by Michael Myers Jr. What was that about? And then he was like his little Batman Robin. Like, what?
That's what
Let
I'm
them tag
saying.
teaming.
Like, what is this? WWE SmackDown edition with Michael Myers? I'm like, why?
No.
Why are they tag teaming a couple at their house? Like,
He's like, show me how. I'm like, you did already. Show you how to what? You already killed the homeless man.
You've been doing this.
You already killed the police. Well, he was basically gonna kill
and
the
you
police
killed that little boy,
guy.
so you have plenty of practice, Corey.
Listen, let's talk about that. Yeah, so do we think he was possessed by Michael Myers, or do we think that that was just the catalyst for his character villain story? Like, do we think that was who he is? What is it, Hayley?
I don't know. I guess it was always inside, because that's what they were talking about. How there's an evil that's outside of us.
Outside of the synthesis.
That one. And there's also an evil inside of us. And so giving into that feeling of evilness and being bad, because, you know, you spent all this time, you made a mistake 4 years ago and you're still getting punished for it. And you're trying to move on and you can't, because people still look at you weird. And of course, I would be angry too, but I would have moved. But anyways, I would be angry, so I get it. And he gave into that sensation of being evil and being like, you know what, you made this monster, so I'm going to be that monster. So I think it was more, maybe a little bit of both. Maybe it was kind of like Michael Myers choking him out, giving him a little feel for that.
He liked it.
He was like, this feel kind of nice.
It was a little sexual tension.
Michael Myers, calm down. So maybe it was just like it awakened him more, but maybe it was always inside of him. To be honest, it's inside of all of us. We have the option to be evil.
Speak for yourself. I don't even like blood.
No, I'm just kidding.
Stab folks? Maybe it's another type of evil, maybe.
True, that's true.
Scamming.
I mean, yeah, I could scam.
Yeah, I'll scam all day.
I would never, but
I mean, in another universe.
Exactly. I mean, evil's on a spectrum, obviously. So, I think all of us probably could do something bad. Let's call it that. It's not evil; it's badness.
There's a breaking point for us all. But that's why I think I would have liked this as a separate movie story completely, because I'm like, it would be an interesting villain story, if you will, of, like I said, the really easygoing guy, but he's pushed over the edge by his mom, his situation, people bullying him, and then, you know, turns out, I mean, I guess that's the basis for serial killers. Is that what they're trying to do? Because now that I say that, I'm like, isn't that what we say happens to the kids that
do crazy
stuff like that? So I don't know if it's like a thing for that of like, oh, look what can happen if they're bullied or blah blah blah. I mean, his situation was a little bit different, because I think that he had been shunned by society because of an event that he probably already felt really bad for. Yeah. So that was, I think, pretty extreme. And then to get bullied for that thing is pretty horrible. So that's
you already feel so bad. And then they're like, you're a killer. You're a kid killer. And he's like, I know.
Call him a pedophile. Like, they didn't stop. I was like, oh,
chill out.
He did, you know, if he truly was an accident, then that would be really tough. So I'm like, if this was a separate story, and this is kind of like its own thing.
And more fleshed out. Yeah.
Yes. And maybe, I'm sure there'd be other things going on in there. I don't know. But yes. But I think what threw me off is that Michael Myers was here. And it wasn't even, like you said, about Michael Myers. It was more about Corey. Yeah. But this is supposed to be Halloween Ends. Like, I'm so sorry, Corey. But you're not for this movie. Like, this should have been another movie.
This should have been maybe the second one, I guess, if you really wanted to.
If you're going to put it in this at all, I think we needed to see Corey before. Yeah. And then this would be the breaking point, because I felt like so much time and care was given to Corey and it took away from Michael Myers. But no, this was like a whole other movie about trauma and things like that. And then of course he has a girlfriend who's been through something, but she's not quite getting where he's getting. And they're
on the opposite sides of being a freak. They're still a freak because, you know, they've survived something or done something incredible nobody has ever done before. So, but he's seen as a bad guy because, you know, he's responsible for a little kid dying, but she's seen as a survivor because she was.
Like, I think it's a pretty interesting concept. And then to see him turn to a completely different person at the end and letting a certain side of him take over. Yes, but I'm like, I just don't see how that fits in with Michael Myers. Yeah. What does it have to do with Michael?
I was waiting. I was like, when the fuck is Michael arriving on set? Because we watching Halloween Ends, and when is he going to end?
I don't know. I think he was just letting everybody else kind of like get weaker. He's like, you know, I'll send out my little nuisance henchmen, and then when I get there, everybody's going to be weak.
There you go.
Because he's kind of fucking shit up. But I did like how Jamie Lee Curtis, aka Lori, was like, hello 911.
Oh, that was pretty
cool.
But
not for me. Yeah.
That was so funny. It's true though.
It is. She said, call 911.
That was good. Honestly, I was like, damn, is she really gonna kill herself? I was like,
shook because I was like, girl, I could believe this right now. Right. She's been through so much. Yeah. And then she said, you thought. She's like, you thought I was killing you? How did he not die? Listen, she shot him twice, like boom, boom, and he flew down the stairs, and he's still like talking.
Oh, what? He fell just like that kid did.
Oh, off the stairs.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Wow,
full circle.
Good job, DGG. I don't remember his name. The director.
DGG. But yes, I didn't know. I was like, so that's why he must be Michael Myers too, because there's no way you're getting shot twice in the chest, falling down a flight of stairs, and he's still trying to like
come back and do
and
things,
he's still talking, and I'm like
like normal, like nothing happened.
No.
Maybe that's how you're supposed to defeat Michael Myers, is by him killing himself.
Oh.
Because
he's good already.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? You're right. Game over.
It's like 72.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So we were running around killing folks, getting back up. Because that's what happened at the end of Halloween Kills. Like, basically, the whole town bullied up on this man, shot him, beat his ass, and he still got up and beat everybody to death. I was like,
no.
So he's just, but then so y'all are building this up to be some kind of evil, right? Some kind of unbeatable evil. Mm-hmm. He is not man. He is beast. He is bad. He is beast. Just for y'all to be able to kill him like that?
By stabbing him to the table and stabbing him in the armpit. It was
stabbing him right there and then slitting right here and then getting him chopped up. I feel like that was such a stupid ass ending. Why make him to be some kind of mythical, unbeatable man just for him to die? I mean, I think it would have been, if y'all want to go the whole, like, he is just a pure force of evil and he possessed Corey, then Corey should have lived, because then that would make sense, because, okay, the spirit of the evilness left his body and went into a new vessel,
like
and that's why Halloween was able, or that's why Michael Myers was able to die. That would make more sense.
That's what I thought. That's why I thought at the end, Corey was going to kind of rise up. Because also, Michael Myers is getting older.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to retire. Yeah.
So I think that would make sense, that it's more of just transferring, and he found a host, which would tie it back to, well, why did you survive? Like, the old man was like, why did you survive? And I thought they were going to answer that, and they didn't really.
Nope.
So I thought it was going to be because Michael was like,
I choose you.
This person is
to be me.
Good for my next whatever.
Because he's been kind of something. That's what they should have done. They should have just made it more supernatural, because they were already talking about it, and they kind of did, but then they're like, not really.
Yeah, and it just, and I get it, because it's like he's human, but so it would make sense of, eventually the human body doesn't have to die, but then like, okay, what about the supernatural? Clearly something else is going on here.
Yeah.
But I was just thought that they were going to go more that way, because even Lori was like, he has Michael Myers' eyes.
Yes. They kept talking about how his eyes are different, how he's different.
Watch the whole time. There was like an end credit scene. Did you wait for like an end credit
never mind.
Scene?
No, I did not.
Let me just make sure there wasn't end credits. What if there was, and we're just talking out our
They're like,
ass?
Yeah, he did fucking live, you dumb bitches.
He did. Did y'all even fucking watch? Did y'all even watch movies?
I turned that shit off as soon as I could. I was like, this shit was so pointless.
It does not have an end credit scene. Let's see. There's a good reason for that. As David Gordon Green not only brings his blood-soaked trilogy to an end, but promises to wrap up the entire slasher franchise created by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill in 1978. So
that's why he just wants it to be over, and so that's why he couldn't allude to something else.
Michael might be evil incarnated, but his human body is already 65 years old, and after getting shot, stabbed, and beaten to a pulp multiple times, it would make sense for the evil inside Michael to look for a worthy successor.
Oh, okay.
At the same time, Laurie Strode's granddaughter Allison gets entangled with Corey and inadvertently puts herself in the destructive path of the new shape, which might turn her into Laurie's replacement. Any hope Halloween Ends was laying the groundwork for a new generation to take over the franchise is shattered at the end. Corey dies. Michael takes his mask. He said,
"You were not worthy."
And during the final confrontation with Laurie, the shape is finally killed. Laurie reflects on how Michael is just a human in a mask after all, and decides to take extreme measures to help heal Haddonfield by destroying the myth and not just the man. That's why Laurie, with the support of the police, marches the street with Michael's dead body before grinding him in a car crusher. There is just no way Michael can ever come back from his death, and by eviscerating the boogeyman in front of the whole town, Laurie allows Haddonfield to move past its gruesome history. There's no longer an evil monster lurking in the shadows, and everyone can see that their lives must not be controlled by thieves. So basically what we just said.
which was a bad, I mean, like, I guess I understand kind of, but it's just like, they're like, it would make sense for his body to now die. Then why didn't he die in the second movie when he got for real killed?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's just got to be something else. And then the whole thing of a new shape coming and like literally Corey put on the mask. I'm like, y'all did all this for what? And even if he wasn't like possessed by Michael, but just was influenced with the evil thing, I feel like that would never end either. Like evil's always going to be around. And you could see it in the homeless man. Like I thought the homeless man,
he went crazy for what?
Or the houseless man. He was also getting like violent, being very aggressive. And I thought his proximity to Michael might be kind of oozing. So I'm like, to me, does it ever die or does it just kind of transfer? So I guess they didn't really go anything with that. And I'm like, if it truly dies, it's because something greater happened than them just killing the body very lamely. Like it has to be something bigger than that. It left a little lackluster. I was like, it just felt like they came up with like a decent idea, didn't flush it out, did it way too late, didn't wrap it up, give all these hints for it to go nowhere. And then I'm just left with more questions of like, well, why did Corey, what was his point? What was his purpose? Because you could have had this movie without him. It could have been Allison falling in love with just a bad boy. Like, you know what I mean?
Michael
I'm like,
Myers himself.
You know, Lori would be pissed.
Oh, now that's a love story right there.
But like, wouldn't it be crazy if Michael like came back, but he had kind of like figured out how to walk around in his human skin and kind of fixed himself up. He was just talking and nobody recognizes him as Michael Myers. And that's like him, his like final trial is like creeping back into society and then at night he kills or something like that. I don't know. I just felt like there was going to be another spin to it. Like
there wasn't. Yeah,
there wasn't. It was like almost a spin, but it didn't go anywhere. And I think I would have liked, you know, Corey coming back alive, but I guess they're trying to end it. But I'm like, if you're trying to end it, that this was a horrible way to go because you kept.
This was the wrong way to go.
It was like it wasn't ending. This should have been the last movie.
Yeah.
And then this one would have been maybe Allison and him, or you might have like a different whatever.
Or we could have just, if y'all wanted it to be like a new Michael Myers, because it's kind of hard to believe that somebody who's in their 60s is still over here kicking ass and taking names. I mean, Laurie Strode, she's been practicing. She's ready for it. Michael Myers.
You saw him as little.
Is that what he was doing?
He has
in prison. He looked like he was locked up like
have
this.
Have you seen him in prison?
When they were on their outside time in Halloween, the 2018 version, he was just locked up outside, couldn't go nowhere. So I think it would have been kind of interesting for them to introduce a new Michael Myers in the first movie, and then we would have followed like the journey of Corey, of him becoming Michael Myers, of him becoming more and more evil, and then like it spreading through Haddonfield, because that's kind of what they were hinting at in the beginning of this. Like people were either killing themselves, or there was like accidental deaths, or like murders, and it was like getting really, really crazy. And like if we're going to talk about Haddonfield becoming more and more evil, it should have kind of ended with Haddonfield destroying itself. That would have been kind of cool.
It would have been cool, like if Corey's character was in the first one, or the first new one, if you will, and then like somehow Michael Myers' character, like let's say he can't escape prison, or he realizes like this is the end of this body. So I think it would have been cool for us to be introduced to him, Corey, in the first one. And then maybe slowly one day Corey visits, you know, starts acting up and is drawn to go visit Michael Myers. And then there's like a switch transfer. And then Corey leaves as Michael Myers, if you will. And then the old Michael Myers like either like succumbs to his old age, or he just is like maybe not there anymore, and they just kind of have him sitting down. And then just like you said, then going from there you have the new Michael Myers, and so it can be Laurie and Alice, and then you can tie Allison into it a little bit more because it's kind of her deal now, kind of the new generation, and her not her problem, but you know what I mean.
And so Laurie doesn't have to take the front seat the whole time.
Yes, like she's helping her, and it was more of like maybe helping her granddaughter go through this, and then through helping her granddaughter she can help herself heal. It's like she can do for her granddaughter what she couldn't do for herself when she was young. And that would have wrapped it up, and that would have been really great. Been beautiful. And they could have figured out how to kill Michael, maybe because he's like not as strong yet, because you know, like he's Michael Myers had practice years and years, but he's still like a baby little spiritual possessed person, so they don't have to worry about that too much. And then they get him, and then oh my god, where are we when they're coming up with these ideas?
They should have called us
They
first.
should have called me.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of disappointing the way that it ended. Like if y'all are going to end a trilogy, a whole franchise, end it with something meaningful. Because it felt like Corey's character was so wasted. We got introduced to him in the beginning, and then he just dies. And it's like, so there was no point.
There wasn't a message that I felt like came full circle. It just was like they started to go somewhere and they're like, nah, but they killed Michael Myers. Everything's good. I'm like, where was the bow? Where did y'all wrap it up at? Why did y'all bring any of this up if it was just truly going to be Laurie and Michael Myers at the end? You know what I mean? Like, why bring up this whole side character stuff? But you know, who am I? That's why I don't get paid the big bucks.
But I guess, what do you rate this movie, Haley? Or did you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it maybe like a 2.5. I think it was entertaining enough. Like, I don't think it was a boring movie. So I guess I can't, if it was boring and like this, but I guess there were moments where I think I was kind of intrigued with where the story was going. I think it lost major points towards the end when I realized that a lot of this wasn't really going to go anywhere. So I don't want to say it's the worst movie I've ever seen. Is it a horror movie? You know, did you get your slasher, ness out of it? You did. But to me, if you're just going to make it like a Michael Myers versus Laurie, just make it a classic thrasher. We don't need slasher. Thrasher slash the hash slinging slasher. Just make it a slasher movie. Like, they could have just made it a fun Halloween slasher movie with a crazy ending, and I think I would have been cool with it. But I think they were trying to go a little bit of a deeper route. I think they lost me, so I'm gonna say 2 out of 5. 2.5. You could probably argue either way for me, but what about you?
I give this movie 1 out of 5. Yeah, I didn't love this movie. I was so disappointed because when you're expecting Halloween Ends, you're expecting Michael Myers and Laurie to face off one more time. I think it was interesting to have the second movie directly a follow-up to the first movie and then skip 4 years in advance to this one. But I was also kind of confused because in the middle of the movie, it just had like that title card of like October 31st. I was like, why the fuck did you do that? Why didn't you do that for October 28th, 29th, 30th? Why did you just do it randomly? It was like they just took a shit on me in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, we don't know what to do. And then just spit in my fucking face. That's how I felt. I felt like I was watching a fever dream of some kind of fan fiction with Michael Myers and Laurie Strode sometimes in it. I was just so like, I can't believe I'm watching this. What the fuck is happening? And the talking was weird. We're going to talk about that one time when they're at their bar and that man got on the ground.
Oh my God. I thought he was having a seizure.
I did too.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's possessing him.
Help. That man is dying on the floor. She's like,
and then he was like, I was like, this is some people shit.
It's weird.
Get off the ground.
I couldn't believe it. There's just so many weird things that happen in this movie. Like, imagine you going on a date from probably the second or third time with some random ass weirdo who killed a child on accident, on purpose, who knows? But then he gets into a heated argument in a family-friendly restaurant with your ex-dude. I'm not getting on that man's bike. I'm going home. I'm walking home. Y'all are embarrassing me. The fuck? For real. I can't believe I had interest in either one of you. Yeah. But it was just like so many weird fucking things happen in this movie that I was like, they have to be like, this is a troll. This is a joke. This isn't really how it's going to end. But no, they did it. And I just can't believe they crushed up Michael Myers like that after him being some kind of unstoppable force for how many years? And you just crush him up? No, first you cut him up and then you crushed him up.
What if he was a robot?
Ooh.
He starts crushing up like these, and they're like,
that all makes sense.
Somebody like
it was like doctor, and then like the doctor comes out. He's like, he wasn't real at all. I made him.
Frankenstein.
Now I would have liked that.
Girl,
we should have gone all the way there. We should. Honestly, if we're gonna make it weird, we gotta make it real weird.
It's the last one. No one cared. Like, not that no one cares, but I'm like, you could do whatever. Like, people are not pressed about some kind of like super nice wrapped up ending. Like, they could have went all out with this, you know.
They could have done something
for the ending.
Pretty cool.
He should up some kind of twist whole time.
I would have loved it if he was a robot.
He was just a robot or some kind of like creation. And they're like, that's why he ain't died.
It's just, I was just very disappointed. I think that the second one and the first one were pretty good. I think the first one was interesting storyline wise, and then the second one was just fun to watch for kills. Listen, I also watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Everybody hated that movie. I kind of liked it. Those kills were pretty cool. I don't mind seeing people die sometimes. Sweet. In horror movies.
You really got to be more specific when you say things.
You're
like
right,
that.
because that makes me sound like I'm about to be Michael Myers. I'm not.
Sitting here like, is that so?
This is the last time we'll ever talk again.
You like to see people what?
Calling 911 right now. But no, I mean, it's just like, if we're gonna make a slasher, make it a slasher, make it fun, make it cool, make it crazy. But yeah, it was just very disappointing. So 1 out of 5 for me. But if you
like other things that are 1 out of what?
follow Hayley on Instagram. But if you like things that are spooky, scary, so spooky. If you like things that are spooky, scary, and cool, you'll love our Instagram at Hayley and Kaylee. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast where you can find out some other content we have. And we have a website, presspodcast.com, where you can check out some other stuff. What else do we have?
We have a YouTube. If you're watching us here, we're at Hayley and Kaylee. You can watch all of our reviews here if you want to see our beautiful, beautiful faces, as well as some other videos that we're releasing this month and other videos that we have that are just kind of for fun. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts, I think.
Mm-hmm. Eventually.
They're there somewhere. You run out of storage. You can listen to us there as well if you don't want to see our beautiful favorite faces.
Exactly.
And if you want to email us, you can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us your thoughts, questions, comments, concern about this movie or any other movies we've watched or just any that you want us to review.
You can also let us know down below what you thought of this one. Was this everything you ever wanted out of the Halloween trilogy that came out of nowhere?
What ending did you want to see?
What would you have wanted the whole trilogy to be about? Until next time, stay spooky.